April 17th, 2013. To most, it was just another spring day. To the city of West, it would change the town forever.
The night of the explosion, I was at home with my family on South Harrison Street, watching a baseball game and eating a piece of pizza.
We were at regional track meet.
Well, I originally got the call when I was at home. My role that day was just as a firefighter, and I responded straight to the scene.
I had just finished mowing the yard, so I was not listening to a radio, and so I said, no, I really wasn't. He said, well, I believe they have a fire in West. So that was the first notification, and at that point then, I said, well, I probably need to change clothes, and they'll probably be calling for me.
I was actually in the house, standing near the front door where the windows were, and Stephen was outside in front of a neighbor's house.
I was at home watching television.
I was in my office, and matter of fact, I was just ending the day, and I heard the fire whistles go off.
A place you've known your entire life was no longer recognizable. So the question is, what next? Where do you start? How do you move forward? With a close-knit town where almost everyone knows everyone else, its residents turn to their city council for guidance. Their mayor, Tommy Muska, recalls the first days of the rebuild.
We convened at 9 o'clock that next morning with the full council there, and started going over systematically the problems that we were faced with. That being evacuation, that being quartering off the north side of town. Also, the utilities were damaged. Water was off, utility, gas, electrical. And so we looked at each one of those and started to find solutions for them.
The next morning, we met with the city council. We sat down and said, look, this is what we need to do, and started talking about the things that we were going to have. For example, the ability to orchestrate some type of reentry plan, debris management plan, some codes, some ordinances. So the council and everybody in that room, they got it. They knew how bad it was. They were impacted by this as well. So they allowed me the privilege of being essentially the representative for them through that process.
The morning of the 18th at the emergency called board meeting was a very emotional time. Certainly we had friends that were lost, and we knew we had students who had lost their loved ones. We knew that we had staff persons that we anticipated had lost their loved ones. It wasn't all business whenever we first started. It was a very emotional time, but we probably spent 30 minutes grieving, and then started formulating the plan of what we needed to do. And the first thing that we needed to do was to provide a sense of normalcy for the students of our school district.
Our first steps in replacing the facility, once the federal government, state Fire Marshal Association allowed us to get in to evaluate our building, and then started the process there of trying to recoup what we could and start all over.
The challenge that we faced was that first Sunday we're too far north, and so the boundary, I think at that time, was Virginia Street, where my church sits, and so we weren't allowed to get here that first Sunday, and so that's why we went to the field on the south part of town there, where West Fest allowed us to use their property, have church out there.
After the explosion, immediately when we evacuated, we drove out to the country and met at Steve Harrelson's house. And then after that, we regrouped and we decided that we were going to stay with Stephanie's parents. So we stayed there for a total, I believe, of 4 nights. And then we were in town taking the boys, I think, to their pickup at the baseball field. There was some activity going on. And the Reeses offered us a garage apartment out in Leroy. That's where we lived until this home was complete.
In the blink of an eye, I lost everything. I lost my house. I lost my clinic. I lost the assisted living that I'm president of the hospital authority that runs it. Lost the ambulance station, lost the nursing home, lost the helicopter station, lost houses of many, many friends, and more importantly, lost many good friends that I knew, that I had to work with, some of which I helped train. Buildings can be replaced. People cannot.
As architects, as designers, as landscape designers, these are the types of things that we do. The physical place, the creating of place, and sometimes even helping to improve the quality of life of people. We would hope that we would never have to work under these types of conditions again, because these types of conditions have meant there has been loss, there has been a real negative impact. But being able to work under these types of conditions, now what can we bring to the table? And hopefully that can be something of hope, something that can be of a way forward, and an opportunity to really make things better than they were before. Not that they're going to be normal, but yes, even as the mayor said today, he is not in a position and he does not want to let this impact define who the city is. So the mayor, the citizens, the community, clearly, from our understanding, has embraced a way of how we move forward.
We're within just a few days of being complete. Contractors are finishing up the final steps, and hopefully within the next week or so we can start moving all our stuff back in the facility. We've replaced all of our equipment with new equipment, updated everything to meet the state guidelines and to fulfill our needs in the future.
Things are in a very good position right now, but we need to continue to work and to strive to get better, be better firemen, be better community leaders, and continue the legacy that those gentlemen left for us.
You know, we're very solid as far as being able to say that we have a positive relationship with the state and the federal government in the terms of rebuilding our schools. And we've been able to design a new facility, which actually we break ground here probably in July, that's going to prepare our students well into the 21st and 22nd centuries. You know, West doesn't build school buildings very often. And certainly we're extremely proud of the school building that we're going to be able to present to the community here in Christmas of 2015 or the spring of 2016. It's going to be 21st and 22nd century ready for learners.
Physically, when you drive up and down the streets and you see all the repairs that have been done, all the houses that have been built, we know the nursing home is getting close with their plans. The school district has a fantastic plan in place. I think we've made very good progress in a year. Spiritually and emotionally, I think people are making great progress as well. You know, our town has done a good job of providing a number of different opportunities for folks to be together and to encourage one another and strengthen each other. And I think that's been a huge help spiritually and emotionally. Our town has done a good job in taking care of one another.
RSVP is a federal program. MCC has been the contract holder for almost 20 years now. We've been involved in all the communities in the greater Central Texas area, 6 counties. We've been involved in West 4 years, mostly in more community-based kinds of services. The Meals on Wheels program, work at the West RestHaven nursing homes are 2 of the biggest in that area. West has an identity, a very strong sense of identity. There's a sense of pride. There's a sense of autonomy that serves them well, especially in these kind of times. We're as connected to West as any other entity around. McLennan Community College is community in its middle name. West is part of the community. It's not just the urban area of Waco, it's this Central Texas area. West is part of us. It should be that we are part of West.
I love waking up in the morning and hearing cement trucks and saws and nail guns. To me, that's beautiful music. It's a sign of progress for our community.
And I want to echo that thought. I was sitting in the garage the other day and I mowed the grass for the first time since we moved back, and I didn't have much to mow, but I knocked some of the weeds down. And I was sitting in the garage in a lawn chair, and you could hear the birds chirping, you could hear some people talking, there was cars driving through the neighborhood, you could hear the saws, you could hear people doing construction. The community in this part of town is coming back to life. And I know after the explosion, especially when we walked through the house for the first time, it was just so dead, eerie, quiet, and the neighborhood was dead. And so as people started coming back, it's now coming back to life. So when we fill up Reagan Street, we fill up Davis Street, and we have full streets again, and people and kids playing and people walking, that's what I look forward to, because that's West.
Our future is bright. We always have to remember the huge debt that the explosion gave us. The loss of life will never and should never be forgotten. But with that, we also must look forward. As I said last night, if you look backwards, you're going to stumble and fall. And that's a perfect analogy of what I think this city is doing, and that is moving forward. These people are rebuilding their lives, their homes. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I told you that from the very beginning, and we're moving through that. It's going to take a number of years to get back, and we're ready for that challenge, but the future of West is very bright, and I look forward to it.
The city took this opportunity not to just rebuild, but make themselves better, which is key. And you know, there were some things that we had to do early on that we had to put in place, some ordinances and some standards and building construction and building codes and all those kind of things. And the city of West already had some of them, but we had to shore them up. But the city is definitely taking this opportunity to make itself better. It's going to come back stronger. It's coming back in a well-planned, thought-out process. And when you have people that are engaged in their own recovery, there's no way that they will fail.
I think West is the best community that anybody could live in. We support each other. Everybody knows everybody else. We've come to each other's aid. We work together. We're going to move forward. I think we need to do what we're doing, that's continuing to support each other and move forward and get back to as normal as we can be.
Like everyone else in town, my life has changed dramatically. This is not the same life I had. And so I never know what each day holds. There's always new challenges and new opportunities that I never had before. And so I think kind of what is exciting about life now is looking forward to and anticipating what new is going to happen today, because it's all new every day. The rut is gone.
West is my home, and it will always, always, always be my home, no matter what. A lot of our children who've moved away and they've gone to college to get their degrees. They say, well, we're never coming back to West. We're here in the big business world. We're in the large city. We like it here. But they always come back because it's just a feeling that is instilled in you from our families. Nothing like it. Nowhere else but West.